Hello everyone, my name is Maria Kądzielska and this is Poland Daily Culture. And today we're still talking about one of the greatest Polish verse spinner of 20th century, who was Julian Tuwim. Great poet, a very interesting man as well, with a huge element of humor and amazing talent, which we still can enjoy until today because of his poems. With me in the studio is Julia Wilde. And Julia, you are a PhD candidate at the Warsaw University in literature, but also you write poetry yourself. So I would say you're a good person to ask about connections between Polish and English or British literature. And I would like to ask, were there any Tuwim's inspirations of foreign poets which we can express and underline? Because I would say it's very not obvious and knowledge which even Polish people usually don't know.
Yes, that's very true, and I think it's very sad that we think that our culture, our literature is limited only to our country, in the sense that we do not get any inspiration from other countries. And in case of Tuwim, it's very interesting because he was very much inspired by two foreign authors. One of them was Rimbaud, and the other was Walt Whitman, so an American poet, a very influential one, though he wasn't very appreciated in his times. So it's very romantic in a way, right, that you die without
Rimbaud
recognition.
as well. I wouldn't say that.
Yes.
Okay, because of course Tuwim knew French very
Yes,
well.
of course he did.
Well-educated person.
Yes,
than
yes.
him.
Well, back then it was much more obvious than nowadays, right? So people knew much more languages, also because of our political situation, right? So Russian was obvious. In some parts also German was obvious, plus French, because it was this elegant language. And when you learn the first two languages, it's very easy to
continue with
plus
that.
Latin, of course, and when you
Yes.
know Latin, it's easier to.
You're going with French, Italian, and Spanish very quickly.
Yes. Yes. So it wasn't that difficult back then, right?
Okay, back to Whitman.
Yes, so Whitman was an American poet, as I've mentioned, and he was a revolutionary poet, we can say, though not in the sense that he was very, very keen on fighting, and not at all, but he was, sometimes he's called the first American poet in the sense that he epitomizes the American spirit, because he was writing about democracy, about love, about nature, and this reconciliation of nature and urban life, so that there is no juxtaposition, there is no conflict, but everything can be seen as beautiful in a way. And he, is also claimed to be the one who saw that the poet doesn't need to be this special one, this chosen one, but he's one of the people to whom he is speaking, with whom he's sharing his poetry. So he was a very interesting person. He was also a working person. He worked as a printer, as an editor, as a teacher. He did many things. And his poetry was very special, also in the sense that he, when he wrote his Leaves of Grass, so the volume that is the most famous, he didn't write it with rhymes. He wrote it in free verse without rhymes, and he was in a way imitating the cadence and the style of the Bible, in the sense that the rhythm was similar to the rhythm of the Bible, but at the same time the language was very simple, very understandable, and very straightforward, and even controversial because it was also describing the human sexuality, and it was
in the rhythm of the Bible.
Kind of, we could say
well,
that.
There's a lot in the Old Testament also about sexuality.
Yeah, because it's part of our lives. So
yes. So how we can see that Tuvim was inspired by Whitman?
Oh, in many ways. He tried to imitate this cadence, those long verses, and this lack of the structure. So initially, but then we could say, discovered his own poetic voice, and he decided that he felt much better creating poetry that is very disciplined in terms of rhythm and rhymes, and he's perfect
He's
at it.
very disciplined.
Yes,
but also because of it, it's beautiful.
Yes, because it's flowing so effortlessly, right? There are no parts where something doesn't work. It's very smooth, very natural.
Yes, and you don't feel that you're putting a lot of energy into reading it.
Yes,
in a way.
yes, that's true.
It just goes to the end, and then you realize, okay, I didn't understand anything.
Sometimes, but not always. Yes, but yes, that's very true. But at first he tried to imitate this cadence of Whitman, but then when he was already a fully developed poet, let's say, a mature artist, he stuck to his melody, so to speak, but at the same time he still was looking for the imagery that was in the poetry of Whitman. And one of the poems, well, the most famous one by Whitman is "Song of Myself," which is very long. It is, I think, 52 parts. So it's terribly long, but it's this affirmation of life. It's joyous at parts. But sometimes it's very complex, and it's amazing work, very fascinating, and it shows this life energy, vitalism, this lust for life, we could say.
And there is a lot of lust for life in Tuvim's poems as well.
Yes.
This living of nature, which is living all the time, and with full of passion and energy, and the fact that Tuvim also describes very strongly just the beauty of nature and flowers, everything inside, which is just constantly living, moving, changing, and colorful and powerful. So maybe they had it both in common, I would say.
Yes, though for sure, Tuvim inherited simply from Walt Whitman, whom he considered his, let's say, father, poetic father, because Whitman, well, "Song of Myself," the first version, because there were many of it, the first version was published in 1855. And the final version comes from 1892, so 2 years before Tuvim was born. So it's not like an immediate influence in the sense that they didn't live at the same time. But I mean,
it doesn't necessarily need to be this way,
yes,
of course.
Yes.
You can be influenced by...
Yes, because another Tuvim's master was Leopold Staff, whom he knew very well, and they were befriended. But, well, they happened to
know each other.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if you follow all of these elements of literature and you like it, and we do hope that you like it, stay with us for the next episodes, because we will read a little bit poetry for you. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.